everyone. I'm Dr. PJ, and thank you for joining me today as we talk about career solutions. Today, specifically, our topic is about how to be a champion in your field. So, as the nation settles into the football offseason, the members of the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team can rest assured that forever they will be known as the 2020 National Football League Super Bowl champions. Should they never win another championship collectively or individually, they know that they will go down in history as champions. No one can take that from them. Tom Brady, for obvious reasons, will now secure his place definitely in the talks of being the greatest of all times. So like the Buccaneers and Brady, we can and should be champions of our field. No matter our occupation, our field, our career, or our calling, with determination and preparation, we should always strive to be the best of ourselves, because that is where our legacy begins. We must understand that the Buccaneers' road to a championship did not happen overnight, though it kind of seemed like it did. And I say that because normally in leading to a championship, normally a team has been a viable contender the last couple of years. But in the 2019 season, the Buccaneers had 7 wins and 9 losses. Not to mention, though the team has been in existence for 45 years, they've only had 1 championship, which occurred about 20 years before this championship. And let's not forget that the Buccaneers do hold the NFL record in the lowest winning percentage. So you could kind of say that they've been known to be a non-winning team, right? But it's not what their reputation was, but it's what they did in that offseason that changed their position. They acquired champions of Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, who actually came out of retirement to be a part of this revamped team, as well as they got some other pivotal players to be on this team. The combination of experience, decades of hard work, sacrifice, determination, preparation, leadership, desire, support, teamwork, and passion, all of this led to this accomplishment. Did they have failures? Yes. Did they have losses along the way? Absolutely. Injuries? Of course. But it was all a part of their journey. To get to the professional level, each of them individually had to dedicate many years to Little League, to high school games, to college games, playing through the bumps and bruises and sometimes the broken body parts just to reach this goal. Coming close just to be so far away. You know how sometimes you're like, I'm going for it, I'm going to get it, and then you get second or third, and it's like, I came this close and I still didn't win? But that's just part of the journey of being a winner, of being a champion. Many of us, I can say, are not fortunate to know what we wanted to do as a child, nor had the opportunity to own specific skills like our football players are able to do, right? However, the various experiences that we have encountered along the way lead us to our own playing field, and our persistence can carry us to our championship. So there's a huge lesson that I want you to get out of the Buccaneers championship, and it teaches us 9 things. And that is, 1, we must have a passion for what we do. If you don't have the passion for what you're doing, there are going to be bumps and bruises on the way. There's going to be losses. And if you don't have that passion, it's just not going to work out for you. You got to move past those things. And that passion is going to get you past those bumps and those bruises. 2, you got to practice fervently. Don't give up on practicing. You got to know what you're supposed to do and practice it. Practice it over and over to get it right. There's plays that they had. They weren't able to do those plays if they had not practiced it before, right? You just can't come out there and think you're going to win just because you thought you're going to win, right? You have to practice on what your game plan is. 3, you got to set and stick to your goals. You must set goals so you know where you're headed. And then you also are thinking about who's going to help you to get there. And setting those goals gives you an idea of what paths that you need to take, what involvements or what skills or knowledge that you need to obtain to reach that goal. and it puts a timeline on it. So it doesn't let you sit there and just ride the waves. You got to think, set your goal and then stick to it. And that's going to help you to actively pursue it. 4, you got to be amongst others that have the same goals. You can't achieve a championship because no one can do anything by ourselves. It all takes us, whether it's somebody dropping a knowledge here or someone showing you how to do a certain or perform a certain position, it takes other people. And so with knowing that it takes other people, you have to surround yourself with a team that has the same goals as you. They couldn't win a championship if only Tom Brady's goal was to win the championship. If nobody else wants to win it, there's no way he's going to win it, because they have to play. They have to have that passion to practice and to set a goal so that they all as a team can work together and support each other to go after that goal. And then it's about working hard, even when you don't feel like it. That is the heart of a champion, because there are going to be times where you get knocked down. There are going to be times where you get knocked out. You might be on the injured list, but you have to have that passion. You have to work hard to get back healthy, to acquire the skills that you need, to get out there and just keep pushing. And keep pushing and keep pushing, even when you don't feel like it. Because if you give up, you're definitely not going to achieve what you want to. Then you have to perfect your craft or your gift. And so sometimes we're born with gifts, right? These players are born with this talent, this athleticism, but they have to nurture that. Not only do they have to practice and go to practice so they can know the plays, but they have to individually hone their gifts. If you know that you are supposed to catch, you have to work on being the best catcher that you can be, right? The best receiver, because you got to catch that ball. The best tackler, because you got to tackle people. It's up to you. And so how do you perfect your craft? It's not just about practicing, but it's about looking at other folks who have the same skill set as you, and that may be a little bit farther than you. How did they achieve their goals? What did they do? What knowledge do you have to learn that can help you to really make that gift and craft it, that it's your own and that nobody can do it quite like you can? Then you got to believe and prepare that you will win. There's a saying that I love so much. It is, success is obtained when opportunity meets preparation. You'd better be prepared when opportunity comes. So for one, you got to believe that you can do something. And that belief is going to drive you to prepare for it, that you're going to know everything about it, because an opportunity can come, but if you're not prepared, if you're not in that position to take that opportunity, then success is not going to happen. So what you want, success, you got to prepare for it, and you got to prepare for the opportunity. Just like with the football team, with the Buccaneers, they had to prepare for this. 2019, they were not a contender, but 2020 they were a contender, and they prepared for it. Whoever was behind the front office, they were looking, we believe that we can win a championship, so this is what we're going to do to prepare for us to win this championship. You have to show up and you have to know your role. We all have different talents and abilities, and so the quarterback can't be figuring out how he's going to tackle people. That's not his job. He's good at what he does, right? Tom Brady is good at being a quarterback. He may be terrible at being a tackler, right? So it's about you got to be in the right position and knowing your role and perfecting that role and doing what your job is, because if everybody does their job on the team, then that's how the team goes ahead and moves forward to winning. And then you got to show up. I used to teach, and we had been, it was a horrible semester. I think it was a hurricane, and there's a lot of things going on. And so of course, by the school standards, we had to have a final exam. And my students had been through a lot, and they had worked very hard. And some of them said, you know what, we've been through too much. We're not going to show up for the final exam. I'm just going to go ahead and take my C and keep moving. And so what I did, knowing what they had gone through, I had a final exam that had 2 questions. I wasn't even going to correct the questions. As long as they answered them, they were going to get 100%. So those who had enough gumption to show up, who cared enough about their grades to show up, got 100% just for simply showing up and just filling out, answering those 2 simple questions. And so sometimes that's what we have to do. Things may be terrible for us. It may be bad for us, but it's just about showing up. You may be on the injured list, but you're part of a team. You gotta show up for that, because people can thrive off your support of just you being there. And then lastly, be willing to change members of your team. Sometimes everybody's not designed to go where you're supposed to go. You don't want folks being dead weight that's stopping you from achieving your goal. And when we look at the Buccaneers, they had to change some members of their team in order for them to get to a championship. So the team they had for 2019, they didn't go anywhere. You know, they weren't contenders for a Super Bowl championship, but they were willing to change members of their team. They wouldn't got Brady, they wouldn't got Gronkowski, and they wouldn't got some other people, some pivotal players who had the same goal, who had the same passion, who wanted to win, who were going to work hard, who were going to show up no matter what, who were going to practice in the off season, who had the same goals and were going to stick to those goals, who were going to perfect their gifts, who were going to believe that they could win, and they would do all they could to prepare to win, and they would play in their roles. And that is how they won, because of those things. So Sam Walton says, commit to your job and your work, whatever it is. If you love your work, you'll be out there every day trying to do the best that you can. And that's all you can do, is the best that you can. And if you keep working at it, you'll become better and better and better with each time. So if you take that stance, coupled with the 9 tips that I gave you, you will succeed and you will move to become a champion in your field.